Speaking of injuries, speaking of the body breaking down, great segue into the latest Tiger Woods surgery. And Mark, here's the official thing. It is a L4, L5 disc replacement surgery on his lumbar spine. As almost always, it was successful, deemed successful. It always gets thrown out there as well. This is the second back surgery for Tiger in 13 months, but it's not even his most recent surgery. That was the Achilles that he ruptured. I'm trying to keep track of all this back in March. So, I mean, it is just another blow, another surgery, another press release, another injury bug for Tiger.
When I saw this, I was like, my gosh, what next? And then I got some text messages from the people and they were like, did you see this news? And my response was more like, heck yes. How much more can he tolerate? Because, the human body is designed to fix itself. But when you're doing all this stuff all the time, I'm wondering what's going on inside and how strong he is mentally and how eventually when he just goes, okay, enough already. I'm done. There's no need for me to get up. Along those lines, here recently on my other show, I interviewed Chris Como, who's worked with Tiger for a while. And he said what struck him was how hard Tiger worked despite the tremendous pain he was always in. And Chris used those terms. He's like, he worked so hard despite the pain. And I remember thinking, golly, clearly he must still have goals if he's working this hard, or otherwise he just doesn't have another gear. That's exactly who he is, and it's how he defines himself. So this is horrible news. Now, I'm no doctor, but I just can't see how one human body can tolerate all of this invasive stuff being done, especially to your spine, which is the center of your being. And I'll be honest with you guys, and I'm sad to say this, I don't hold out very much hope for competitive golf. Golly, how many of these surgeries can one still have and be competitive with the youngsters out there?
Yes, and the constant state of rehabilitation, Greg. I mean, it's the surgery and then the months of rehabilitation, which is always painful. It's always difficult for what even Tiger must realize is the absolute smallest chance of getting to the top of the mountain again. I mean, he only cares about wins. He only cares about major championship wins. He's highly competitive. We are so far removed from that. We can't even get the guy on the golf course. Now, I will mention, because Mark's words, whether he realized it or not, were very specific. He said, I don't know how he's going to be able to compete with these young guys anymore. Well, doesn't necessarily have to, Greg, because he's going to turn 50 in 2 months. He will be eligible for the Champions Tour.
I didn't even think about that, to be so honest with you.
I am thinking it's a pretty big dog that Tiger's going to play any type of regular schedule on the Champions Tour if and when he gets healthy. But that will, in 2026, technically become an option for him.
If he plays PGA Tour Champions golf, which, look, if you asked me about this 5 years ago, I would have said there is no chance Tiger plays PGA Tour Champions golf. Maybe he tries to play a U.S. Senior Open to win a U.S. Junior, a U.S. Am, a U.S. Open, and a U.S. Senior.
That would be cool. Has anybody ever done that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Say that again, because
U.S. Junior, U.S. Am, U.S. Open. I think the only guys to win a U.S. Junior and a U.S. Am are like Tiger and Nick Dunlap.
So Nick Dunlap could technically still do it.
Yeah, but I think that list is very short. And then you had the U.S. Open on there, and then
right.
It would be a very cool accomplishment, which I could see being a goal for him.
Check on Hale Irwin for me, Rick.
Yeah,
I don't think Hale has the U.S. Junior.
Yeah, I'm not sure he has the U.S. Am either, but I know he's got the senior and the regular.
And the right, but they're very small lists. And I could see Tiger having an interest in that, and I could have 5 years ago. Although now at this point, the there's the love to compete, and you don't know where that is for his barometer. But it sounded like before this surgery, it was pretty high. The willingness to get involved with TGL is a sign of his ideals and willingness to go and compete in any form he can. I'm sure that he's fierce on the ping pong table kind of thing. Like, he just wants to compete. The question is, what is the toll? What does it do to his body to play a 54-hole tournament in a cart like PGA Tour champions? Is that like going out and playing with Charlie, or is there more to it than that? Because what it's felt like over the last couple of years since 2022, it's felt like however high Tiger got up that mountain, he had to jump off from there. It was like the higher he got, we make the cut at the Masters, it's just a farther fall, and it's harder to recover from. And it doesn't make you stronger. It's like normally you go through stressful things and you get stronger as a result when you recover. But he's crossed this line where it's too difficult to recover, and he doesn't get stronger from it as a result. He just gets more broken, more hurt, which is he's 50 years old. You'd think we'd get, 20 years of ceremonial Tiger golf, right? That's what typically happens with golfers. You go compete 65, 70, you're playing, and that stuff seems really far-fetched. Ceremonial golf for Tiger seems really far-fetched.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll settle with him, and I love your points. And to build on those, Greg, I would say this as well, because the recovery is such a big deal, and he's actually spoken of it whenever he does play in major championships. He talks about how long pre-round and post-round he has to work on the recovery and the setup and the preparation aspects. But then after the week, like when he made the cut at the Masters for argument's sake, I think, and then he had to pull out after Saturday. Well, there was one of the majors that he did that, because like we talk about the walk around there. And then he takes a few weeks off and doesn't play, or might practice or whatever. But the truth is, right now at 50, and chronologically, he's in fantastic shape, cardio-wise, I'm certain. But is he must be so misaligned from all the surgeries he's had done, and muscular misalignment and spinal misalignment's a big deal, because it becomes nerve pain then too. And so then you don't play or you don't practice. You just can't spot these kids a few weeks and then come out and expect to compete with them anymore. It just isn't.
I don't know if you could spot the old guys, that kind of stuff either.
Well, that's the thing. I'm talking about the PGA Tour, and then to TGL. Look, TGL, he plays one hole every 3 or whatever in the first segment, and then you play singles 9 holes, so he's not hitting that many shots. So it's not that invasive. So if there's ceremonial stuff, it'll be sort of that way inclined, where it seems like you're not putting that much stress on the body. The only walking you're doing is to and from the tee and over to the big chipping green.
Yeah, you may as well be in your house. I'm sure it's that kind of walk from the master bedroom to the kitchen.
I was going to say, that's smaller than his house, than the setup he's got at home.
I do know this. I've been proved wrong by Tiger countless times. And I've made these comments now, and they're out there in the internet. I guarantee you he proves me wrong again. I mean, that's the Tiger Woods I know.
Couple of notes there. So, Mark, you are right. That 2023 Masters, the WD after the 3rd round, that was, remember, the really bad weather. He had to play. He had to finish his 2nd round on Saturday and then go straight into the 3rd round. And that was kind of a bridge too far. He ended up withdrawing after the 3rd round. Hale Irwin, I do not see the amateur victories for Hale. So that, as far as we can tell, still safe that Tiger could become the only man to capture all of those championships.